Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Forgotten Camel, and it's been a really long while. Um, I've actually been thinking about doing another gamer's opinion. Uh, Basically talking about a particular game I haven't. And then I started looking up on Steam and saw this game called The Beginner's Guide. Just came out today. Made by the same people who made the Stanley Parable. And the Stanley Parable was pretty good, in my opinion. But supposedly this game's going to be a bit different. And we're going to try it out. Now, unfortunately, I'm using my laptop because I don't have my computer available at the time. I'm kind of at home, and my computer's in my dorm room and stuff. So, without further ado, let us continue with this game. I just hope that the speaker's working to find out well. Oh yeah, you're probably hearing an echo too, unfortunately. Let me just... Hang on, I'll be right back. I gotta find some headphones. Okay, I got some headphones, and they work! Somehow, they're working. I just found some in the drawer. They're really, really long. Okay, now, let's begin. Yes, the audio is on. I mean, why wouldn't I check if the audio is on? You know, I always wonder, why are the WASD
Hi there.
keys used?
Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way.
Oh,
And mostly it's just
I love Counter-Strike.
Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveywreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
Hello? Oh, what the hell?
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
This is interesting. Where the Whisperer? It's a whisper machine. That just sounds, weird. The whisper machine is like a machine that whispers to you.
Security call breached. Hostile alien life form inbound.
An alien life form? Go in here?
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets.
Really?
But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin ship evacuation.
Oh, the alien forces are dead.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
Oh, I can see the bottom. I can see the bottom. I wonder what's down there. Hello? Zombies? Aliens? What is this?
Apparently this space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Wait, no! I wanna go through the labyrinth!
Or if you'd really like to solve the labyrinth, you're welcome to do that too.
Just wandering around. Okay, I'm officially gonna be lost. Like, literally, I'm just gonna be lost. Just because I stupidly decided well, I'm already lost. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna. It's because I'm curious. I wanted to see if there was like. I just wanted to see. I don't know. Curiosity killed the cat. I won't be stuck in here and starve to death. I don't know. It's a good thing I just. Oh! Okay. Whisper machine status active. What is the witch rain routine?
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Okay.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering a whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature.
Well, what's the whisper machine?
Your body could stop the beam.
You want me to kill myself?
Us, but for all of our lives. Would you do it? Could you give yourself?
No. I'd rather kill you all, thank you very much. I am a selfish person. If I die, you're coming down with me. You hear me? I'm not going in there. Open! Open!
This is not a branching point, unfortunately. The only option is to step into the beam.
You people are murderers. Okay, I'm back. I paused the game to go do something, and then this thing ended up, closing for some odd reason. So apparently I gotta kill myself.
This is not a branching point, unfortunately. The only option is to step into the beam.
Yeah, which is unfortunate.
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Oh, you don't die? Oh. That's nice. So this is
The beam causes you to start floating.
So this is
and
what
this is an
looks
important
like.
moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it, like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
Hey, what's next? I can't move. Why can't I move? I can't move.
Yep, in this game you can only walk backwards.
What? Are you, why? Why? Why would you? Wow, that's... What?
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative.
That's kind of
It is less
small.
advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Coda's trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
Just walk backwards. Just walk backwards. But the future is always behind her. Okay, this definitely has some sort of meaning to it. Wow.
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
That's like a statement. I actually like that one. That's really nice.